oyster switch.
These were like practice runs?
We don't
That
practice.
was a
run.
practice run.
We had 2 or 3 practice
So, that was in the afternoon pretty late. And they come in, had a little old beeper thing sitting there. And they come in and pick me up pretty early. So, when they told me to go down and get on the plane, and they put that on my board, told me to take off, I looked at the gas gauge, only had a little bit of fuel. And I knew exactly what they wanted. So I run this route. When I got to the island, I bailed out again. When I went back to the cabin, there was 5 of them over there bound up. 2 of them was women.
Were they Korean?
Korean, North Korean. I reckon it was North Koreans, it was Koreans. But anyhow, I went ahead and bailed out, watched the plane go down, and I sat there on an old stump till early the next morning before they picked me up, wondering if they was going to leave me out there or not. But they come and got me.
And
That,
they come got you the next morning, right?
yeah, it didn't come till the next morning.
So there was somebody, there were people they were deliberately trying to get rid of and make it look like a crash accident. Would you say that was correct?
That's probably what they was trying to do.
But they never explained it to you. They
Never
just
did.
gave you enough information to do the job.
Right.
Did they use you as, I'll use the hard term, did they use you as an assassin in other situations when you were in the military?
When I first went to Korea, they sent me to the prisoner war camp on Chejido Island. Sent me down there on an old fishing boat, just me and the crew. I got down there, and after a week or so, I know they was checking me. That's the first thing I know. I know they was checking to see if I'd do what was told. They told me to go down to the back gate of the prison, that one was going to escape, not to let him. So I went down there, found a place to stand. I think I stood and had a place to sit down. Or I did, had the ground. Well, it went long till one come out. Went across the end of the airstrip. I kneeled down and shot him in the back. I didn't. They sent some other people out to pick him up. I don't know whether it killed him or not, but I knocked him down. And I come on back up to the base, where was that, just a little piece up above the airstrip. In fact, that airstrip was so short, the American planes would not land on it. The only ones that would land there was the British planes, and British pilots would do anything. So the plane come in a couple days later and got me and took me back to Seoul, or Busan or Seoul, whichever one's at the end there. And I got a Jeep and went up to the 40th Infantry Division, which was on Heartbreak. I've done a lot of stuff there. I'd go out every once in a while and get a prisoner, bring him back. They would interrogate him. I wasn't on that end, don't know what to done. But after they got through with him, they'd tell me to get rid of him. So I'd take him out, shoot him, kick over him in the ditch, throw a hand grenade in to make it look like mortar got him.
Gotcha.
I've done that, I don't know how many times.
Why do you think they were trying to get rid of prisoners that way?
They couldn't let them go back to North Korea when we signed that peace treaty. They knowed too much. They worked for us.
Gotcha. They worked for the U.S.?
Worked for the, yeah, worked for the.
So they knew too much, so they didn't want them to go back. And after they had helped the United States, they had them killed.
They had them killed.
Wow. And they had you doing that, and they kept you in the dark. They just told you the basic information, correct?
They just told me what they wanted me to know.
So you just had to follow orders because that's what soldiers have to do, correct?
Right?
That's probably haunted you, is that correct?
Bothered me a long time.
I can understand.
He had to come in with his 4 or 5-year-old at night.
All right, we'll let him tell that part of the story. Go ahead.
I remember when I was 4, waking him up every single night because he would toss and turn
With nightmares?
With nightmares, yeah. Him and my mother slept in separate beds because his nightmares were so bad. My mama was crippled. She couldn't stand to be in the bed with him. So, I slept with my mama and would get up at night and go wake him up every single night, late at the night, so he would moan and groan.
I don't
and
think
holler.
any human being wants to live with that kind of
Still do it.
experience.
I
just don't think they want it. Nobody wants that. I'm going to let you drop a bomb on here if you want to, because I think it's important for perhaps you personally to get it off your chest. After you were out of the service, as I understand it, now you correct me if I'm wrong, you were approached as a civilian by somebody in the government to do an assassination. Do you want to talk about that?
It was in 95. I was a guard at the new golf course that they have up here.
In Morganton?
In Morganton. And one night, 2 FBI men come up there. They parked the car, Jeep, whatever they had, up at the end next to the road. One of them walked down there, and I went out and stopped him, had a rifle, stopped him, and asked him what he was doing. And he showed his badge, said he was a FBI agent. That's when the voice of the foothills come to my house and taped it and all of this.
Is that a TV program? Or
That's
It's
a
a
little
paper.
paper here in Morganton, not a little, pretty big one.
Okay,
They come take it and run a story on it.
all right.
And the FBI seen it. So they come to me and told me if I didn't keep my mouth shut, they would shut it up.
Well, that was about the talk. They want to know about in Virginia when you was running the supermarket. When you went to Langley.
Okay, you want to start telling it, then you can jump in.
This I don't think I've talked about, because
Well, you've talked. I don't know. If
somewhat,
you
I don't know what
camera.
I've talked about it or not.
Is that what you're?
Doesn't matter, you just go
what
ahead and
want,
talk. You just tell us.
This is a different story now.
That's it, go
Probably
ahead.
is.
When you were running the supermarkets and they came in there and wanted you to have the meeting at Langley Air Force. This was before I was born. 60, what was it, 63, 4, 5?
It was 67.
67.
They come, I don't know what they called or come down there. My bookkeeper would know more about this than I do. Elmer Middleton, girl. She's probably dead now. She's about 75. But anyhow, I told her, it was Wednesday, on Wednesday, because we always play golf, and the guys come down there and fix me up, and I told her when I left, that when they come, told them I'd be back in a few minutes, I had to run up to Langley. So I got up there, went in the meeting. There was 2 civilians and 2 colonels, an Air Force colonel and an Army colonel. They sat down there and talked, didn't say no name or nothing, but they talked about what all was going on in the country, and that they had one person that they had to get rid of. Everybody knows who it was from the way they was talking, all this stuff in Roswell and down south and everything. They was talking about Martin Luther King. That was in 67 in the summer. And they wanted me to help them. And I told them that I had a good job, raising a family, and I didn't want nothing else to do with it. But they sure approached me, tried to get me to help them.
All right. In your mind, do you feel like they were asking you to help with an assassination hit on Martin Luther King?
Right. That's exactly what they wanted.
Do you have any idea why they wanted to get rid of him?
Because there's so much trouble going on with the blacks.
And they thought that would fix it?
Well, it did.
Wow. Okay. Now, I want to get unconfused here. You started to mention something in 1990 here at the golf course in
And
Morganton.
that was when the paper that he talked about when this story
Okay,
first
so
got
in the
going.
90s, a local paper did a story on this.
Story on him.
And so then they came
Then they came a few week
to
or so later.
tell him if he
at
didn't
his
shut
word
up.
to be quiet with all that.
Okay. Has your life ever been threatened before? Have you been threatened about telling about the Roswell alien?
No, but the only thing about that, you know, I told you that officer, whoever it was, at that first meeting that we went to,
Yeah.
they called me off to the side, put me in a room, went back there and talked to him, and he said not to mention.
He said you can talk about the alien, just don't
Yeah.
mention your military record.
Yeah,
Or
told me to talk about
he
that,
would
not to
punch him in
on
the
the record.
gut.
Didn't want me to talk about the military.
He said he'd
Told
punch
me
you in the
to,
stomach.
and that's where
Jeff Cochran.
What was his name?
Jeff
I
Cochran
forget,
interviewed
huh?
you. Jeff Cochran of the MUFON meeting
Jeff
interviewed
Cochran.
you for 5
Yeah.
minutes.
But there's something that officer told me not to say or do anything. Said I'm gonna be standing there beside of you and I'll punch you if you talk about it. I forgot what it was he wanted me to talk about. It was something.
Record.
The
That's the
military.
reason why he called me out and told me.
All right, so they were more concerned about you revealing what you did in the military than they were about you revealing about the Roswell alien. Is that correct?
Right?
Interesting. Okay. Any,
Yeah.
close it. Turn it off.